Hey guys, Shane McMurray from the Wedding Report. In this episode, I meet with Trish and Sean of TS We Pour 2. They are mobile bartenders located in Erie, Pennsylvania. Check it out. All right, so Trish and Sean, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. Tell me about your business, where you're located, your website address, your Instagram, any of that stuff. Go ahead.
Sure. It's TS We Pour 2, and if you kind of get where the TS comes from, it's kind of like a saying off of PS We Pour 2, so it's Trish and Sean, so that's where the TS came from.
Got it.
Basically, we are out of Erie, Pennsylvania, but we travel all the way down to Pittsburgh and to New York. Probably Buffalo is probably going to be the farthest that we'll go, and we can also go over to Cleveland, so it's kind of nice being in that tri-state area. We can kind of expand over.
So tell me about your business. What do you guys do, and your website address and all that good stuff?
We are basically professional mobile bartenders. And what that means is that the PLCB for Pennsylvania kind of changed the rules. So you can't just hire anybody to do, say you're having your wedding reception at a location that doesn't have a liquor license. You can't just have anybody off the street serving alcohol for like paying $5 and hey, just serve my guests. So you actually have a licensed company, which we both did this prior. We worked for other people and did it. And it's not too many people doing it in the area anymore. And the other guy that kind of does do it, he's just getting up in age and doesn't really want to be bothered, and it kind of give us the window to open this up and kind of expand on it, because we can do not just weddings, but any type of parties,
right?
Birthday parties, anniversaries, and you name it, political parties, whatever it is. Since the rules changed for Pennsylvania, it works out well for us. Mm-hmm. So, and our website is tswepour2.com.
So tell me about the license thing. That's very interesting because I was talking to someone or interviewing a bride a few weeks ago, and we were talking about liquor and serving at their venue. And they had some special rules in Georgia around what they could and couldn't do. So it's interesting. So tell me about the rules there and how that works in Pennsylvania.
Basically, you have to be certified through RAMP, and RAMP is a program that, of course, the PLCB put together. It's not expensive, and it doesn't take forever, but they just want you to be certified in knowing, how to handle a situation, when not to overserve somebody, make sure you check your IDs. Although we are not liable for if a situation was to happen after a reception, because the wedding couple does have to buy the insurance. And that's actually mandated from wherever they're actually having it, whatever venue it is. Mm-hmm. And that actually covers us too. That again is not expensive, that insurance. I think it's typically around like $150, but it covers, the wedding couple, it's up to like $1 million coverage. So, and it's wise for them to do it. I know some people are like, I'm not going to pay for it. It's stupid not to, because you never know what's going to happen. We're very upfront and honest with the couple when we meet with them. We have a no shot policy at weddings. We will not serve shots. First of all, you go through your alcohol way too fast. Second, with 5 shots, that person could just turn from nice to ugly quickly. And, we just don't have any problems. We want everybody have a good time and enjoy themselves.
Yeah. Shots are probably, I mean, I don't really drink that much, but so if I took like just a sip of a shot, I'd be drunk. So I can imagine like giving 5 shots to someone, they're just like gone.
Yeah. And some people do try to come up and they're like, can we have a whiskey on the rocks? And we're like, you can have one, but you can't keep coming back and ordering that. And then, a lot of times the couples will be like, well, can the bridal party do a shot just like after? And I'm like, as long as we separate you from the crowd, nobody sees you doing it. I understand it's your wedding. You probably want to we'll let them do one shot. We're not
that's cool. Yeah. So how are you guys like finding people right now? Like, how do they come to you? You doing advertising? Is it word of mouth? I mean, you're probably already obviously doing other events besides weddings, right? And so you probably get some business there. Tell me how that works and what happens when I contact you. What's the process?
Typically what happens is, we're all over. I actually in a senior marketing consultant for a radio station too, and I've done it for 23 years. So advertising is kind of my specialty.
Awesome.
So I kind of have a feel for, where you need to be and when you need to be it. And it is very time, because when I tell my clients that too, and just on my end, us doing our business, it's so time consuming because there's so many different sites out there for social media, and you truly do need to be on everything. If you want someone to find you, you have to be everywhere at every time. And I'll be honest, sometimes I slack on the updating, because you can't just click a button and all of them change at one time.
It's difficult, right? It's difficult. There's so many places you need to be. And I don't know if you listen to Gary Vee at all, but he talks about you should be producing 50 to 100 pieces of content every day, posting on all the social media. I'm like, how do you do it? It's impossible.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's not possible.
We also do have some word of mouth too. I mean, that's one of the things, because there's really not a lot of people in Erie that do it. Like Trish was saying, there's pretty much just kind of like maybe one for sure, maybe another one, and then us.
Yeah.
So we go to the different like beer distributors as well. We got people there that we know, so we put our cards, out there. We went to a wedding expo. So that's a big advertising thing for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, it's funny, and it's my analness that I have in advertising, but I actually sent out letters to everybody last year introducing ourselves, because we really started the business in 2018, but really kind of got into it last year. And I sent out 25 letters with self-addressed envelopes with our welcome letter and our business cards, and asked them, I said, we're totally up to referring you, here's a self-addressed envelope, please just send your cards back, I'll put you on my website. I got not one back. I'm like, people are just so uninvolved with it. Amazes me. They're just lazy. I think it's laziness, and I'm like, I can't make it much easier. I mean, I sent you a self-addressed envelope. All you have to do is put some cards in it. Yeah. But people, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm full force about the advertising, because I eventually want neither one of us to have to work and be our own boss and just be part. And we have 10 jobs a week, because I know they're out there, and it amazes me. Like, I still haven't found that secret ingredient on why we're not getting every call. I haven't, because there's not a lot of people that do it. When I Google us, I had someone the closest person I had come up to mobile bartending was in Mentor, Ohio. And that's probably about, I would say, 135 miles away. So that amazes me in itself, that, just nobody even advertises their product.
Well, the biggest challenge is that you're dealing with alternatives, and the alternatives are the venue or the location has bar service already included or part of the deal. And so for you guys, it's a little bit more challenging because it's already included in the thing. So, like the bride I interviewed a couple weeks ago, they didn't have bar service at the venue that she got in Georgia. So she had to actually hire someone to come in and do it. But she also had to buy insurance and license and a bunch of other stuff to do the event. So that's the challenge.
We found that like a lot of the venues here, they don't carry the bar service. Now we did meet with somebody last year that kind of wanted to meet with us, because then he wanted to take over our business, and we're like, yeah, no, sorry, this doesn't happen. Like, we put a lot of work into this. And he's like, well, what if I just include you and then I give you guys 30%? And I'm like, again, no. Like, but the problem that we run into a little bit is that when it's more the caterer has the bartending service attached to it. So we're also finding, though, a lot more caterers don't want to deal with the bartending part of it. They want to just be involved with the food and that's it. So, I mean, we're finding that it is getting a little bit more flexible. It's just, I don't have patience, and I want all of the business,
Of course, be patient. It'll come. Yeah, maybe it's a time to just connect with all the caterers in the tri-state area and have and then, hey, look, we're here. We're available for you guys if you need a bartender. So you don't have to deal with it.
That's my next set of letters that's going out.
There you go. So tell me what goes into the package. Like, so do you guys like include the alcohol with it, or do they say, hey, look, we want you to do it, but we want to serve this alcohol and we'll buy the alcohol? What does it work? How's it work?
Do you want to answer that, or you want me to answer?
So we basically kind of give them two different options. If they choose to supply the alcohol themselves, then we charge per hour. So basically it's cheaper for them
Right.
And we charge $25 per hour within the city. If we go outside to, like Trish was saying before, to like Pittsburgh or Cleveland or New York or whatnot, we'll add an extra, $5 on. So it's like $30 per hour, include
Plus a travel fee or
travel.
something.
Yep. Travel and all that. But it typically, that's up to them. And there's certain things we bring, but when we show up, we tell them, and we sit down with them and kind of give them suggestions of, what they might need, how many people they're going to be there, what type of alcohol, what, their guests preferably like to drink. And so we meet with them prior to that and give them that, kind of write up like a little, a list for them to figure out what they want to do. The other option is we provide it. And we kind of tell them, hey, listen, you got a lot of stuff going on, putting into a wedding. It's a convenience. There might be paying some more money because they're giving us the money, and then, but then we go purchase everything and we bring everything. So we give them both options with that. And
are there issues with like transporting that across county line or state lines or any of that stuff? I mean, I feel like regulation will kill you if they can.
No, because they're not the customer is not paying for it.
I gotcha.
So because nobody's actually physically paying for a glass of alcohol, then it doesn't. And now if we were to go set up in New York and be like, hey, we're charging $5 glass, yeah, we're gonna get busted because we didn't. But then the flip side of that is we could actually buy the alcohol in New York,
right,
on the way to the venue too. We are allowed to do that, but we don't involve. Yeah, we want nothing to do with fundraisers that we have to, take money or anything, because that's not.
I don't blame you. So what does a package look like in general? Like if I want to say, hey, you guys bring the alcohol, what am I looking at cost wise?
It really depends on what you want to do. Do you want to do canned beer? Do you want to do keg beer? Do you want 5 alcohols? What do you want? Low shelf, middle shelf, high shelf? Do you want box wine? Do you want bottled wine? So all those factors go into it. So typically we start at about $7 per person.
Okay.
And that's for low shelf. And then it can go up all the way up to $12 depending on the shelf.
It's very
reasonable. And if we're doing, like, say down in Pittsburgh, it would start at $10 per person and then go all the way up to $15. So just, again, really, really depends on what they want to do. And it's the millennials and the Generation Xers, they do things a lot different than our generations and the generations above us. So, and we kind of clinch ourselves when we hear that they're purchasing, because it's our reputation when we're serving. So when we run out of something, it looks like we ran out of it, and they don't understand that the couple paid for it and they didn't buy enough, so we don't have it. So we do kind of clinch at that, and then they're always forgetting something, whether it's the ice or the cups or so we really try to push for them to let us purchase for them, because there is a lot. It's a laundry list, and I actually send them. I have a nice Excel spreadsheet that actually shows them. They can put in like 4 bottles of liquor, how much it costs them, and they'll tally at the bottom how much they're actually spending. And in all honesty, they usually weigh themselves out.
Yeah.
If they were just having us there per hour and buying the alcohol versus just paying per person, it really
plus the time. Plus the time to go buy it and haul it over there and
and I kind of do that out of courtesy, I guess. It's everything's so close to us, so it's not like I'm traveling a half hour to have to go pick something up either.
Right. So. So when they meet with you guys and you guys go through everything and they book, after that, is there any work for you to do after that? Or is it like, hey, we just touch base right before the wedding and then I'll see you on the wedding day? Is that kind of how it works?
We kind of follow up with them. I make sure that, like, because I do something, again, my analness coming through being an advertising marketer. I kind of go above and beyond other mobile bartenders. I actually will decorate the bar very nicely. So whatever theme that they might have, I will put that. I'll make sure to get a decoration that kind of matches their theme. I do their colors of their wedding, so we always have like When we're covering the table or something, it's matching. I do really nice flower arrangements for them too. So, and we
Right.
make up a nice sign that has, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. We make up a nice bar sign for them that, shows them what we have available. So we do a lot of things above and beyond that. Other bartenders are like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
But it to me, that's just me. I would rather have it organized and look nice and rather just look like a bar,
And we give them the option. I mean, they can
Yeah.
choose to not have that, but we just
Yeah, and-
sit down with them and tell them the extra things that we could do for them. So.
That's
yeah,
good.
and usually the reaction we get is, really, you guys do that? That's awesome, so they're all involved in it too at that point.
Mhm.
And then the other thing that we just kind of keep in
Specialty drink.
contact with them. Yeah, I have a specialty, nice little pamphlet I kind of put together. They can pick a specialty drink. That seems to be a new popular thing too,
Yep.
is to have a signature drink. And we also do, I have 4 different wine punches that we kind of created, and we have a nice wine punch bowl that's a fountain. So, they're all excited. They get excited about that too. Anything to make it above and beyond everybody else is kind of our theme, make it nicer.
Yeah. So, and then when you're there, how much time do you guys typically spend in an event?
We do about an hour and a half for setup, because setup's very important. Because
Yeah.
once that reception's done, they're running, and we have 100 people coming. So setup's really important. Then we're typically there for reception. It's normally 5 hours, and then we're normally there about an hour after for cleanup.
Yeah. So it's a 7-hour, 8-hour day, right?
Yeah,
Unless
pretty
you have
much.
travel, then it turns into a 10 or 12-hour day.
Yeah.
Cool. What advice would you give couples today if they're looking for mobile bartender, or, even just thinking about bartending or alcohol in general for their wedding? What advice would you give them?
Don't slack. Make sure you get your wedding insurance policy done. It's just something you need to have done. It just saves everybody. And remember that I know it might look like it costs a little bit, but we feel as though the reception's the biggest part of the party of the reception.
Bar. The bar setup.
Yeah, the
attendance.
bar is the biggest party, because we're keeping all your guests happy, and we're keeping you happy, and we're keeping you liquefied. So, although it might seem like it's costing a lot, in the long run, it really truly isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So let's flip a little bit and talk about the business side. What would you say for business in general for you guys is working well right now today?
We actually get more weddings than we do anything else. And again, I think that's just maybe my lack of not getting into enough nonprofits, not letting them, realize that we did do a nonprofit last year that she just found us on the web, and she was about 30 miles away from us. And it was for their 20th year celebration. And she just did it at a really nice house. It was like a mansion house. And she had us there. And it's kind of like she ran the show, but all the guests have very high income. The foundation, I should call it. And they were highly impressed. And we actually got a lot of, I think, recommendations from that too. A lot of the, should I say, bigger wigs took our cards, and a couple of them have business in Pittsburgh and stuff. So we just need to get out a little bit more socially, face to face, because it made me kind of realize that generation probably isn't looking online. It's more word of mouth, and that was good for us. So we would like to get into do so, like political parties. I did get a text about, are you a Democrat? We'll be in the area. And I'm like, yeah, we also have mobile bartending. And so I texted back, I'm like, yeah, we have mobile bartending service. So if you guys are doing a political party and you're looking for bartenders, and he actually, it was funny, he texted back and he's like, I will definitely keep that in mind. Thank you for that information. But I think I just need to start doing that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll just tell you, I mean, I've done probably about 50 of these interviews already this year, and every single business that I have interviewed has always talked about the relationships that they have built with other people. So it really is getting out and networking and working with other people, and finding the people that directly correlate with you well, like, for example, photographers and videographers, right? Or venues and planners and things like that, right? So for you guys, maybe it's the caterer or even the venues that don't offer alcohol. You know, that way you can get in there, and when they think about someone needing alcohol or wanting that type of service, you come up to mind automatically. So I don't know, you might want to, that's what I've noticed from everybody I've talked to. It's just build the relationships they build, and it takes time. It takes time to build the relationships. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be patient, and you just have to just work the relationships. So,
and we do that. It's the other half of them that are just like, eh.
Well, that's I mean, that's part
but we
of
do,
it, right?
you know, we push quite a bit, you know, in regards to, you know, letting people know who we are, what we do, and we know a lot of people know about us, you know, and I get my reports from the website of how many people are looking at it every month, and it's actually gets to be very high, you know, like last month I think it was 1,600 views. For me, that's high because it's not a typical business that you're going to be looking up, you know, so.
Yeah. So what would you say are kind of like the biggest challenges then that you're faced with today in business?
Just not having enough business. Like I said, like I seriously don't want to do, I want to be my own boss. You know, I'm at that stage in my life where I just want to do my own thing. And, you know, and I think Sean does too. Like, you know, we just literally had to have so much business that we can just do what we want when we want to do it, you know.
And get our name out. Like I said, we're getting more and more business. We're about three years into this now. And it takes time, just kind of like you were saying. But it is getting out there. Our name is getting out there. You know, years ago when I used to do this, about 20 some years ago for another business, same type of thing, mobile bartending. A lot of the places didn't provide bartenders. So I think some of the challenges you're seeing more now compared to 20 years ago is, and it's starting to turn a little bit, but back then they didn't have people, they had venues, but they didn't have bartending. You'd have to bring in bartenders. So the places are now providing bartending services. But to a degree, it's starting to switch a little bit more, at least in our area, a little bit more.
Yeah, the wedding venues, the outdoor themes, that's became so popular. You know, people don't want to have their wedding at a hotel room anymore, you know, and they just don't want that anymore. They want to theme it out. They want it to be just enjoyable. They don't want to feel like they're in a stuffy room,
which
you
is
know,
good for us. So that's actually helping us, where I would say maybe 5 to 10 years ago, it wasn't going that way, but now you see more and more that's happening.
And in honesty, we have thought about, you know, purchasing a piece of land too and building our own, you know, barn style. It's again, goes back to that whole money situation, you know. You can have all the dreams in the world, but if you don't have the money to back it up, it ain't happening.
There someday, you never know. You know, the thing is that people are getting married in different places, and they want. I mean, I track probably 12 or 15 different same location types, and then there's, when it comes to just the, you know, ceremony at one place, reception at another, you know, there's 5 or 6 of the ceremony locations, and then there's probably 10 of the reception locations. 70% now are getting married in the same place as they're having a reception, but that other category keeps expanding. I mean, it seems to me like people just want to do different things more than anything else, and the venue space is exploding. There's so many people converting space into venue space. So I don't know. I mean, you're right. I think people just want to get married at different places. They don't want to do the same things as anyone else, and they want to just be different and do their own thing.
Right.
So
we found it. They want to be simple. The simpler, the easier.
Simple is great, and that's where I think you guys can benefit, because people want same place. They want different location, like not a hotel, just something different. You know, it could be a beautiful backyard. It could be a park. It could be a historic building. It could be a lakeside, whatever, but they want something different. And so, yeah, mobile bartending is perfect.
Yep.
Bring the drinks to me, right?
Exactly.
So what advice would you give, you know, people that are trying to get into the business? This is a little unique, I know, but, you know, just based on the 3 years you guys have been trying it, I mean, what would you do differently if you had to do it again?
I I think that's kind of hard for us to answer because we haven't done it long enough. Although Sean says 3 years, it's really 2 years. I think Mick, if we were in business for 10 years, we'd probably be able to answer that a little bit better. I think us just still being new to it, and trying to do everything that we possibly can do to stay out in the public and let people know, hey, we are here to, just give us a quick call. We have done. I go above and beyond. Sean sometimes gets upset with me. He's like, "Why are you doing that?" But I'm like, because it makes the couple feel better, and it's millennials and Generation Xers have a little bit of an attitude when it comes to hiring people. Their thought process is very different. So, and I can connect with anybody regardless of the situation. I mean, I've met with guys that are in the military and they're like, yes, yes, yes. But by the end of the day, they're smiling, they're actually laughing, because they come in with this, I just want this, 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 and this, and straight face. And at the end of our conversation, they're like nice and relaxed, having a good time, So I think, I mean, I don't really, unless you think of something.
We really haven't had.
I don't know how to answer
we really
correctly,
haven't had many growing pains. I mean, a couple times and you never know until you get there. We had one wedding, and the kegerator system started going bad. So you always have to have kind of like a backup with that, which
we do.
Which
we
we did.
Handheld,
but I've been in situations before. It's like, oh boy, So not anything typically goes perfect, but always have backups with the different things.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's it. I mean, you just said it, right? Like, so if you could think about, advice, have backups, right?
Right. Yes.
have backups.
Always bring more than not enough.
Yeah.
If you don't go through it, you don't go through it.
And I love to shop, so. But I do normally at the secondhand stores. I've picked up quite a bit of stuff for our business at secondhand stores or online or something. And I have enough where we could do probably 5 weddings on a Saturday. So we have the crew. We could just pick and choose who goes where. But I do have enough material to cover probably 5 weddings on one particular day. So it does take time to build up the inventory. Although people think, oh, you're just a mobile bartender, you don't need anything. No, there's a laundry list of stuff that you need to have, and a nice, our basement's pretty much, the one corner is just bartending stuff. So, and kegerator systems, they're not cheap, that's where you spend a lot of money. And we bought a small ice machine last year because we were running out of ice sometimes. So we bought a small one. And this year we want to buy a big one. So, we don't have to ever run out of ice or have to run to a store, or something like that. And in the middle of the wedding, so
those are the things you don't really think about when you start. I mean, since you've been in the business for a while, you already knew kind of what you needed, but you get started on things and sometimes you don't realize it takes, I need to do that. I need to do this. It takes, takes time.
And even the bartending tools, something stupid like a juice squeezer. People don't realize, so I have 5 juice squeezers, because you never know.
Yeah, anyone starting it. Yeah, have more than not enough. Have a checklist before you load everything up. Make sure we double check, triple check, just to make sure we have everything.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be stranded out in the middle of nowhere and, oh boy, we forgot this, So,
yeah, I'm definitely guilty for packing more than we need. Yeah. So, but you never know when you're going to need it. So
that's okay. Yeah. All right. So I know you guys have only been doing this for a couple of years, but what's your best or worst wedding story you got for me?
I think our worst was last summer. The one wedding where we literally were like, is anybody going to come over and get a drink? Because we're looking at the crowd. There was probably about 100 people there and maybe 10 people came over. We're like standing there for about 45 minutes. Nobody's coming. It was like, we kind of looked over and we noticed it's like an older crowd, but it was 4 hours of torture because they just weren't drinking. And I feel bad for the bride and groom because they actually purchased the alcohol. And I think we ended up packing up everything. I think we may have gone through we did specific drinks, signature drinks for them. So I think we only went through 1 bottle each of the signature drink for them. So it was very slow. So.
But on the complete opposite of that, we had one which
Yeah.
was like really, really busy.
Yeah.
And we probably should have had, we were a little undermanned. We didn't think
Should have had
that,
another person.
so we were moving, and I'd have to run to the store a couple times. And I mean, we didn't expect it that much with the information that they gave us.
Uh-huh.
And so we were like, well, it was pretty overwhelming.
That was like 225 people, and they said they drank, but it wasn't gonna be out of control. Well, they were
It was
ordering
out of
4 or 5
control.
drinks at a time, and probably about 2 hours into it, we're like, and I always bring more than enough alcohol, pop, everything, mixers.
Yeah.
We were pretty much maybe had a quarter of the stuff left that we had. We had 3 more hours of, and I'm like, you're gonna have to go to the store. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the ones that didn't drink, right? I mean, how would you have ever have known, right, that they're not going to drink? And what was the deal? Just people just didn't drink at that wedding, and it's.
Yeah, it was just it was, I don't know if and it's so hard, you know, you try to ask the bride and groom, like, well, you're inviting these people, you know who's coming to your wedding, what do they drink, how do they drink? And I don't think they know enough. So it's really, that's where the math tries to play in, and that's kind of why I made this formula up of X people we should, if they're drinking, this is what we will need.
Yeah.
You know, but you never know what the guests are going to do. I mean, it's
typically they're pretty close though. They give you an idea, and you're like, and it does work out. We're like, okay, this is kind of what we expected.
Yeah.
You know, for the most
Pretty
part.
soon you're going to be hauling a U-Haul just full of liquor, right? Just to get you there.
Yeah. Our cars get pretty full right now. Packed.
Yeah.
Rim. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having us. We enjoyed it.
All right. Have a good weekend.
You too.
too.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. I hope that you found it helpful. Please share it with other people. Also, if you're getting married or you work in the wedding industry, I would love to interview and share your information with other people. Send me a text, 520-399-8580, or shoot me an email at letschat@wedding.report.